Introverts of Reddit, imagine it's a reverse pandemic, and to not get sick and die, you had to spend all of your time outside, with other people and in crowds. How would you cope? Do you survive? I would find a bunch of introverts and hang out with them. We would all just have earphones on. We would be in a crowd, outside, and quiet. Edit. Wow, I woke up this morning to 250 notifications. Thanks for the awards. That's actually something I didn't think of. You'd start to live in groups, communities similar to you. Kind of what happens now with clubs and whatnot, but never-ending clubs. And you might go to different groups depending what mood you're in. There might be a quiet part of the city, loud part of the city. Very interesting. Edit. As a middle-aged man, I of course have a podcast, and it's about stupid questions like this. It's called Is This a Stupid Question? Podcast, if anyone wants to check it out. I guess I'll just die. After thinking about this, I actually feel really bad for extroverts. This is what they have to deal with. Wow, I didn't even think about that. I feel bad for extroverts now too. My husband is an extrovert, and it has been hell on him mentally. He desperately wants to go out and hang with friends. The only time we interact with other people is when we go to the pediatrician's office for our son, and he will talk the doc's ear off. How about playing a game with him? My BF's coworker started WoW, so we joined. We both played before, and now we have our own little guild, and playing together while talking on Discord is lots of fun. Warzone and hell, even No Man's Sky is a godsend for that very reason. Cross-platform voice chat. Game changer. I've been helping some friends with Minecraft. They're the first to jump into Discord's VC. Then we would be the ones making all the I'm depressed because of the pandemic threads. And the extroverts would be saying, lol, nah, just go out and meet some new people. You told me that the last 29 years, mom. Then after a few weeks, turns out I'm not as extroverted as I thought I was. Can't wait until this is all gone away and I can just watch Netflix again. Nah, I'm still just as introverted as I was before the pandemic. I work from home and only really interact with my GF in person. It's ducking heaven. I love my friends, but they can be so goddamn exhausting. It's great having some distance between us from time to time. And the longer this pandemic goes on, the more I realize I don't mind that from time to time having very short intervals. Agreed. The pandemic has been an amazing time for me. I also work from home and only really interact with my husband. The only thing I really miss is my one social event of the week when one of my friends would come over to drink wine and bitch about work, but even then I don't miss it that much. My extrovert husband, on the other hand, absolutely misses spending time with groups and friends, but he is better able to empathize with me now, so that's a big plus. Same. My boyfriend is going crazy saying he misses people and being out at bars, and I'm over here just enjoying being home every single day, lol. A grocery or Target trip a couple times a week is enough stimulation for me. Costco and fries, Kroger, but Arizona, for me. And I still stuff the wireless in-ear headphones in before I make it to the door. That's still plenty enough people for me. I have to see them and be with them, I don't have to hear them. Do I have a bad attitude? Maybe. Probably. Don't care. Nah, I do all my pandemic shopping alone with headphones in until I get to the register. Ain't no shame in ignoring the world when, you know, Teresa pandemic. Anywhere where there are people. I'd probably spend my time at Disneyland or Universal Studios. Love the vibe there and am an extreme introvert. Amazing that in this world, staff at Disneyland and Universal Studios become the essential workers. A lot of other places, too. Movie theaters. Dance clubs. Sports arenas. Pretty much every entertainment venue where lots of people gather, really. The exact opposite of what's going on in reality, which is only appropriate in this reverse pandemic. About the only place that stays the same in both worlds is the grocery store. Ooch, my library would host so many events. And most likely be open 247, and everyone would be encouraged to bring their family to work. Like readings and overnight reading parties, and as we are having a Spaceship Future event this year anyway, I think we could have people over who talk about the future, saving the planet, but also some who tell about rocket science, stars, different galaxies, and thinking about stars, maybe also horoscopes, and maybe we would have someone over who would explain zodiacs and also the ones from different cultures. And I think it would be nice to have a knitting sewing group come at least once a week. As we have 3 stories plus a conference room, we could host several fairly quiet groups at once. Oh, it would be so much fun. My BF would not like that scenario though. He is a total introvert and has PTSD on top of that. But maybe he would visit group sittings for that? And come along on quiet reading nights at the library. We'd have to arrange nursing home crawls and parades to be sure the elderly and those who were unable to easily access crowds saw enough people to be healthy. Like how many people? If I could just spend time with my close friends I would be fine, but large noisy crowds all the time would probably be deadly. So it would probably be the inverse of COVID restrictions, so, obviously it's different around the world. If you were home it would have to be more than 10 people. Maybe I could find 10 friends for this could work. That's something I didn't think of. But also you would have to make sure you didn't get on each other's nerves. I mean, even 2 people in the same house for months can be perilous. I wonder if people would be more or less tolerant if their lives depended on it. The people don't have to stay the same, it's not Corona, remember? Smile, we could just go and meet all our families at once and then we could spend time with our families, 10 people circle and then circle back to our friends that way. If it is really the reverse, it would have to be all different people all the time. I don't mind meeting new people since I am curious about them, and I'm not actually shy, but all new people all the time, no breaks? I like this less and less. Did you know that you can in fact be an introvert, and still have great social skills? I am an introvert who can wear the pants of an extrovert when I need to. I worked as a waiter for almost a decade, striking up cold conversations with strangers. I just simply value and recharge with some time to myself. Introvert, you recharge alone. Extrovert, you recharge with social interaction. It has absolutely nothing to do with how adequate your social skills are. I've known extroverts with horrible social skills. I am an introvert with amazing charisma. So I'd adapt just fine because being an introvert has nothing to do with social anxiety. But OP specifically says you now have to spend all your time around other people. OP wants to know how you will cope without having any alone time to recharge. I feel like the comment you are replying to always comes up whenever someone talks about introverts on Reddit. Like, yay, the exact thing you are describing is what could be problematic. Nobody is talking about social anxiety. Hello, extrovert here. I am not thriving in this reality. I wish to partake in that reality. I got COVID pretty early, elementary school teacher, and when schools closed I clung to my waitressing job so I could have human interaction, and Zoom hangouts are not cutting it. My husband had to sit me down and have a serious conversation about how important it was that I keep him in the loop with my mental health because my main sustenance is conversation. I would imagine the same thing would be necessary here, but opposite. Someone passing a note along to an introvert saying, "Hello, you do not need to answer this unless you're not doing well, but we can go sit on a bench somewhere so we're safe and we won't have to talk." A reverse speakeasy. A speakerly. Being outside with other people or in crowds doesn't really imply constant social interaction. Simply being around other people is not an issue. I could sit in a cafe and play on a laptop, listen to music, whatever. Doesn't mean I have to socialize with them. There are people who get anxiety from being in crowds of people, but this is not necessarily specific to introverts, and not all introverts have it. The majority of introverts had to be around hundreds of people most of the day in schoolwork anyway. It's not something that causes us all to get depressed, we just tend to withdraw more from social interactions and spend more time in our thoughts. A lot of introverts spend more time at home, indulging in their hobbies such as watching TV, playing video games, reading books, etc. This habit would be hard to break, and may cause significant distress for some people, kind of like a recovering addict would face, but not as severe. Well, heck. That would be really unpleasant. This actually gave me a pretty visceral negative reaction thinking about, and I'm not even that terribly introverted, I think. If that's how unpleasant staying in has been for some folks, I definitely feel for them. Ugh. This is exactly where my thinking came from. I'm quite lucky that I like my own and my wife's company and can endlessly spend time indoors being entertained. I can't imagine your recharge being other people and having to stay away. I don't cope well, and survival would be a ducking pain. I typically like inside, don't like the majority of people, and fucking hate crowds. I prefer to stay to myself, go about my business, and typically interact with only a small amount of people. Considering my personality, and assuming this reverse COVID is as bad as regular COVID, they'll take my chances, get sick, and hopefully not die. Would the fact that doing this somehow transmits the virus to other people who are also by themselves change your mind?